Have you ever wondered why it was Natasha who sacrificed herself in exchange for the Soul Stone? Why Clint was chosen to be there? One clue lies in the names. The music when Iron Man is first seen aboard the Benatar. His funeral is similar. Context is essential for understanding this movie. This movie was produced using. So, I'm going to be using. The opening scene begins with bright sunlight. There's no rain or storm, yet the Marvel logo is displayed accompanied by thunder. Why? The name Natasha means. Translating character and object names into Hebrew can provide. Natasha is a type of. Clint means. Natasha's father's name is Ivan, and that Natasha isn't aware of who her father is. In Hebrew, Ben means. Atar means. Those aboard this ship are portrayed as having. The name Wanda means. The Scarlet Witch is a type of the great. Gamora is a type of. Marvel reviving Gamora in Avengers Endgame suggests that they want to revive. The music bands featured in Avengers Endgame have been thoughtfully chosen. Hi, the culmination of over a decade of storytelling, Avengers Endgame delivered an epic conclusion to the fight against Thanos. But have you ever wondered why it was Natasha who sacrificed herself in exchange for the Soul Stone? And why Clint was chosen to be there? One clue lies in the names. Did you observe the music when Iron Man is first seen aboard the Benatar? And the music played during his funeral is similar. Context is essential for understanding this movie, and this movie was produced using a Gnostic lens. According to dictionary.com, Gnosticism is defined as an ancient group of heresies stressing escape from this world by the acquisition of esoteric knowledge. So, I'm going to be using the Bible to explain several aspects of this movie. This review builds on some of the aspects that I've explained in my analysis of Avengers Infinity War. So if you haven't checked it out yet, now would be a great time to do so. I'll leave a link in the description and also you can find it on my channel. This is the first in a two-part series, so be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out the second part. So let's begin with the analysis of Avengers Endgame. I'd like to clarify that this analysis is based solely on the MCU movies, not the comics. While the comics may offer alternative perspectives on some of the points I make in this video, that doesn't diminish the validity of my claims. Both can coexist as truths. For example, notice how the red Marvel theme transitions to black and the letters IO transform into 10. This could be interpreted as Marvel celebrating its 10th anniversary, but it might also suggest a deeper meaning. This review of Avengers Endgame draws on many aspects I've covered in my analysis of Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't watched it yet, now would be a good time to do so. I explained how Avengers Infinity War was developed using a Gnostic perspective and defined Gnosticism as a group of ancient heresies stressing escape from this world through the acquisition of esoteric knowledge, explaining one of the key characteristics of Gnosticism as the inversion of good and evil, portraying good as evil and evil as good. I highlighted how several otherwise unexplained aspects of Avengers Infinity War could be better understood through the Bible. I outlined how the quotes in Marvel's opening banner revealed the entire plot of the movie and also parallels the book of Revelation in the Bible. I outlined how Iron Man is a type of the Antichrist in the Bible, highlighting several shared traits, such as being a powerful organizer who rises to power through politics and peacemaking, on how his most famous quote, I am Iron Man, reflects his role as the one who comes in his own name. I also drew parallels between Doctor Strange and the false prophet in the Bible, as well as between Thanos and the Gnostic Jesus, or a mischaracterized and misrepresented version of Jesus. I drew parallels between the diverse group of people from various nations and tribes, including the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, who unite to fight against Thanos in the MCU, and the Earth Dwellers in the Bible, who similarly unite to fight against Jesus. I explained how Ebony Maw is a type of a twisted angel. With that brief recap, let's now begin our analysis of Avengers Endgame. The opening scene begins with bright sunlight. Then, disintegration follows. There's no rain or storm, yet, the Marvel logo is displayed accompanied by thunder. Why? This is Marvel's way of showing how Avengers Endgame parallels the book of Revelation. The end time judgments in the book of Revelation begin with thunder, and thundering is mentioned throughout several chapters. Introducing the concept of typology. A prophecy is an oral prediction of a future event, while typology serves as a non-verbal prediction. A type or prototype foreshadows a future event or person. Like in Avengers Infinity War, the names of characters in Avengers Endgame reveal one or more attributes of the characters themselves, similar to the Bible. Let us begin with the analysis of Natasha. The name Natasha means the Lord's birthday or born on Christmas Day. Natasha in Hebrew can be translated as cast off or suffer. Translating character and object names into Hebrew can provide deeper insights into the characters, much like the way names are explored in the Bible. Natasha sacrifices herself in exchange for the soul stone. To summarize these statements, a person born on Christmas is made to suffer and becomes the voluntary sacrificial lamb who saves souls. This theme should be familiar to Christians by now. The character Natasha is a type of Gnostic Jesus, according to the MCU, and that makes her a type of an Antichrist, according to the Bible, since she is imitating Jesus Christ. We also hear from the Red Skull that Clint is the son of Edith. The name Clint means settlement on a hill, reflecting his work. The Hebrew translation carries a similar meaning. Edith means wealth or fortune. Jesus was crucified on a hill, and through his death, he settled the penalty for our sins, offering us forgiveness and reconciling us to God. Do you observe the parallel? It is further revealed that Natasha's father's name is Ivan, and that Natasha isn't aware of who her father is until she met the Red Skull. The fact that Natasha is a type of an Antichrist can further be confirmed by the fact that the name Ivan means God is gracious, reflecting how God the Father is described in the Bible. But the question remains, why did the MCU choose to portray Natasha as not knowing her father? This is an allusion to the personal insults Jesus faced, specifically the accusations of being an illegitimate child. The MCU exploits this. This is ironic, given that Jesus actually has the most profound genealogy in history. The Bible outlines Jesus' legal, bloodline, and pre-existence genealogies. While I previously mentioned that Iron Man was a type of the Antichrist, I'm referring to Natasha as a type of an Antichrist. That's because we have the Antichrist with a capital A and we also have Antichrist with a small a in the Bible. Natasha is a type of an Antichrist with a small a. On a side note, the word Satan can be translated as an adversary. We have the Satan, which can be translated as the adversary with a capital A, or we have Satan, which can be translated as an adversary with a small a. This is one of the nuances often missed in English translations. Next, let's analyze the spaceship that is used by the Guardians of the Galaxy and a few members of the Avengers called Benatar. In Hebrew, Ben means sun, Atar means crown or diadem. Those aboard this ship are portrayed as having kingship, authority, and as chosen and faithful. This is an inversion of a verse from the book of Revelation. Hope Van Dyne, who later becomes the Wasp, is one of the characters disintegrated when Thanos uses the Infinity Gauntlet in Avengers Infinity War. This is Marvel's way of suggesting that Jesus takes hope away from people, highlighting the common misconception about Christianity that it takes away hope by emphasizing suffering, sacrifice, and the need for redemption. In reality, Christianity is meant to offer hope by encouraging believers to trust in God's love, mercy, and the promise of a better future, both in this life and in the afterlife. Numerous Bible verses associate God with hope, reinforcing this message. Next, let's analyze the Scarlet Witch. The name Wanda means wanderer. The Scarlet Witch is a type of the great idolatress mentioned in the Bible, particularly in the book of Revelation. She is described as the Scarlet Woman, dressed in purple and scarlet, glittering with gold and precious stones. The Scarlet Witch shouts at Thanos, "You took everything from me." Thanos declares to Scarlet Witch, "I don't even know who you are." The Scarlet Witch responds, "You will." This highlights the role of Vision as her husband, whom Thanos had previously killed. The dialogues between Scarlet Witch and Thanos have a biblical basis. Howard Stock, a type of the devil, Part 2. In my analysis of Avengers Infinity War, I had explained how Howard Stock was a type of the devil. This is reiterated in Avengers Endgame as well. Howard Stock says, "The greater good has rarely outweighed my own self interest." This is how Satan is described in the Bible. Howard Stock also mentions that he is considering naming his child El Monzo. The name El Monzo means victorious. Satan truly wants his offspring, the Antichrist, to be victorious. Finally, he gives Tony Stark the advice: no amount of money ever bought a second of time. The Bible mentions how Satan is aware that he is running out of time. We have one more type of Satan, the Ancient One. Since Satan is described as an imitator, the type of Satan is amply named the Ancient One. The Ancient One's dwelling place is named after God's sacred space, the Sanctum Sanctorum or the Holy of Holies. We see the Ancient One demonstrating her astral projection capabilities, a Gnostic practice, and she uses the number 666 to identify herself as Satan. She is considered the sorcerer supreme, and we can see the bruises in her head, which is attributed to Satan. Next, let's analyze Gamora. Gamora is a type of the city of Gamora and the city of Sodom in the Bible, which were known for being exceedingly wicked. God destroys them as a result, and this destruction is shown as an example of God's judgment against sin throughout the Bible. These cities are used as symbols of moral corruption, specifically homosexuality. In Avengers Infinity War, Thanos sacrifices Gamora in exchange for the Soul Stone. This parallels the Bible, where God destroys the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah due to their exceeding wickedness, specifically homosexuality. This biblical lesson helps Christians save their souls. Marvel reviving Gamora in Avengers Endgame suggests that they want to revive homosexuality. We also see Gamora presented as light, paralleling a verse in the book of 2 Corinthians which talks about how Satan can disguise himself as an angel of light. Captain Marvel is presented as an angel of light. The Bible describes Satan masquerading himself as an angel of light. Captain Marvel is a type of Satan. The soundtrack, The Real Hero, is played during Iron Man's funeral. The soundtrack, Totally Fine, is played when Iron Man is aboard the Benatar spaceship during the beginning of the movie. These soundtracks are very similar, and this is intentional. This similarity suggests that Iron Man has died, if not physically, at least spiritually, when aboard the spaceship Benatar, and it was Captain Marvel, a type of Satan, who raised him from this state. How can we reach this conclusion? That's because the Antichrist is described as having a fatal wound that had been miraculously healed, suggesting a symbolic resurrection. The healing of the wound represents a form of restoration or return to power, giving the illusion of a miraculous comeback or supernatural recovery. This act would deceive the world into believing that the Antichrist has power over life and death, leading to the worship of Satan. The music bands featured in Avengers Endgame have been thoughtfully chosen. The song Dear Mr. Fantasy by Traffic is featured when the movie banner appears. According to Wikipedia, the band Traffic began as a psychedelic rock group, a genre of music that is influenced by mind-altering drugs. In the Bible, we come across words like sorcery, witchcraft, or sorcerer. The underlying Greek word is usually pharmakeia, which closely mirrors the generic modern English word drugs. Pharmakeia, which involves the use of mind-altering drugs, is a biblical doorway to Satan. By the way, did you notice Iron Man wearing Black Sabbath's t-shirt in this scene? As discussed in my analysis of Avengers Infinity War, the Disintegration parallels the Rapture in the Bible, with a few exceptions. Let's explore this topic in greater depth. In the Bible, there's a verse that states, "Two men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left." The opening scene of this movie echoes this concept. The Christian rapture is the belief that at the end of time, Jesus will return and take all believers to heaven, leaving the rest of the world behind. This event is seen as sudden and unexpected. In Christian eschatology, a fancy term for the study of end times, the concept of pre-tribulation rapture, mid-tribulation rapture, and post-tribulation rapture refer to the different views on when believers will be taken up to meet Christ in the events leading up to the end of the world. The pre-tribulation view holds that Christians are taken to heaven before the suffering begins. The mid-tribulation view holds that Christians will be taken away to heaven midway through the tribulation, while the post-tribulation view holds that they will endure the tribulation and be raptured at the end of it. This movie suggests a pre-tribulation rapture and presents gnosis or esoteric knowledge as the solution to the rapture, reiterating its Gnostic perspective. We reach this conclusion since we have the earth dwellers trying to overcome the rapture 5 years after it happened, and the Bible says that the rule of the Antichrist will be for 7 years. There is a wall hanging that says, "Now where do we go now that they are gone?" Rocket says, "Some are really gone," referring to the dead. Some are kinda gone, referring to those who were disintegrated or raptured. Ant Man escapes the disintegration as he is in the quantum realm. Captain America asserts that the world is in our hands. It is left to us, guys. And we got to do something with it. All these reiterate the idea of gnosis or esoteric knowledge as the solution to the rapture. If a pre tribulation rapture were to occur, this could be part of the great delusion mentioned in the Bible. This movie teaches the possibility of reversing our past, a second chance. This is not grounded in reality. Now, wasn't that a firestorm of a revelation? I hope you liked my analysis of Avengers Endgame Part 1. Coming up next is my analysis of Avengers Endgame Part 2, where I'll be discussing new types, new themes, and also the climactic battle. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss it out, and spread the word by sharing this video. Thank you. This movie highlights the faith of the Gnostics. The question we as Christians need to ask ourselves is our faith stronger and greater than theirs?